All right, let's just get right into it. Fortnite isn't collapsing, okay? It's not dead by any stretch of the imagination. But if you've been playing lately, you might have this feeling that something's just a little off. Something's shifting in that creative ecosystem. And today we're going to dig into exactly what that is.
I mean, have you felt it? You're scrolling through the creative maps, and you just get this sense of déjà vu, like you've seen it all before. It's subtle, but it's the kind of thing that once you notice it, you can't unsee it.
And this isn't just a vibe, right? There are actual specific symptoms you can point to. You see thumbnails that look almost identical, titles that are basically just fill in the blanks, and so many map concepts that feel like they just came off an assembly line. It all just adds up to this feeling that a lot of what we're seeing is being mass-produced, not handcrafted.
So what's the word for this? This feeling of having to wade through a sea of sameness just to find something that feels original. Well, there's a term that's been bubbling up, a piece of internet slang that honestly just hits the nail on the head.
It's called AI slop. You've probably seen it floating around. It's perfect for describing those slightly weird AI-generated thumbnails, or super generic descriptions, or even whole game modes that are just being cloned and churned out at a massive scale. But here's what's really important to understand. The problem isn't what you think it is.
So look, the crucial thing to get is that this is not about AI being bad. It's not. AI is just a tool, like any other. The real problem, the root of all of this, is the platform's incentive structure. And this is a huge challenge for the entire creator economy. Doesn't matter if it's Fortnite, YouTube, or TikTok. When a system rewards speed and volume more than it rewards originality, well, creators are going to do what they have to do to keep up.
And that leads us to a much bigger idea, a framework that helps explain why these kinds of incentives even pop up in the first place. Because this isn't just a Fortnite thing, it's a super predictable pattern that we see happen to pretty much every big digital platform as it gets older.
And the term for it is? Well, it's a bit of a mouthful. Enshittification. Yeah, I know it sounds harsh, but it was popularized by the writer Cory Doctorow, and it perfectly describes this common life cycle where platforms kind of slowly get worse over time as their main goals change. Let me show you how it works. So, Doctorow lays out these 3 stages. Stage 1, the platform is incredible for us, the users. They do everything they can to get us to sign up and stick around. Then, Stage 2. Once we're all there, the platform shifts to being amazing for creators and businesses, to build out the whole ecosystem. And then finally, Stage 3, it starts to squeeze both the users and the creators to pull out as much money as possible for its shareholders, and that's usually when the experience starts to go downhill. Now, it's really important to get this. This isn't some evil plan being hatched in a secret meeting. It's not malicious. It's just a structural thing that happens. As these platforms get huge, the pressure to make more and more money just builds and builds, and the balance of who the platform is for, it just naturally shifts away from us, the end user.
Okay, so we have this big theory. Now let's bring it back home. Let's put Fortnite itself under the microscope and see how this whole idea actually applies to what's happening in its creative world right now. Does it fit the pattern?
We're going to look at 3 main things: how we find maps, how the creators actually make money, and the impact of the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, or UEFN. I mean, UEFN is an incredibly powerful tool that lets people make these unbelievably beautiful, complex maps, but it also makes it easier than ever to clone and pump out content at a scale we've never seen before. Okay, so first up, discovery. The algorithms in Fortnite that show you new maps, they don't have a way to measure artistic merit or innovation. What they measure is engagement, how long you play, how often you come back. So what happens? Creators, totally rationally, start designing for things like addictive gameplay loops and thumbnails that are basically clickbait, because that's what the system rewards. Then there's the money. Creators can earn cash based on that same player engagement. Now, that's an incredible opportunity, for sure, but it also accidentally creates this massive incentive for quantity over quality. I mean, think about it. If you're a creator, what do? Do you spend months making one totally original masterpiece that might completely bomb? Or do you crank out 10 cheap, familiar-looking maps that are almost guaranteed to get plays and help you pay your bills? For many, it's a pretty easy choice. And this is how you get the feedback loop. You see it right here. Tools like AI and UFN make making stuff super cheap and fast. That leads to a ton of uploads. Creators then tweak those uploads to please the algorithm, which rewards them with engagement. That reward then gives them the incentive to make even more cheap content, and the whole cycle just spins faster and faster. So, after laying all of that out, what's the verdict here? What does this actually mean for the future of creativity in Fortnite? Are these just growing pains, or is it something more serious?
Let's just ask the big question straight up. Is Fortnite actually enshittifying? Well, like most interesting questions, the answer isn't a simple yes or no.
You've got to be fair and look at both sides. On the one hand, yeah, you have some clear signs. The content is totally saturated, and players are feeling real discovery fatigue. But on the other hand, this platform is still changing and growing, and let's be honest, truly amazing, high-quality maps do still break through. This could just be a messy, temporary phase of scaling up.
But the long-term risks, they are very, very real. If this trend keeps going, you can see the most creative people just burn out and leave. Players might just give up looking for cool, unique stuff. And eventually you could lose all trust in the discovery page, turning what was a vibrant ecosystem into just a flat, boring, predictable landscape of sameness.
Which brings us right back to the main point, and it's so important we say it again. The danger is not the tech, it's not AI, it's the imbalance in the incentives, the system that encourages using that tech for mass production instead for genuine creativity.
But here's the hopeful part. None of this is permanent. Nothing is set in stone. These platform dynamics, they can be changed. These ecosystems can absolutely be rebalanced. This is not a terminal diagnosis.
And there are real, actual solutions here. I mean, imagine better filters so we can find what we're looking for. More human curation, maybe even just tweaking the algorithm to put a little more value on things that are truly original. These aren't just pipe dreams. Platforms adjust their systems all the time, and it's totally possible to shift that balance back towards rewarding quality.
And it's so important to zoom out for a second, because Fortnite is not in a bubble here. We are seeing this exact same pattern play out literally everywhere, from the spammy stuff on YouTube Shorts to the endless clones on the App Store. This is a fundamental challenge for the entire digital world we live in.
And that leaves us with the real question, right? The one that we should all be thinking about. As our digital worlds get bigger and more automated, can these platforms ever find a way to balance quality with scale? Or, in the long run, does that relentless push for optimization always, inevitably, overpower originality? Now that is the conversation worth having.